Dear students, this is my one more video on project. The topic of today's talk is project, a self-learning tool. See, in different subjects there are projects, and right from our school days we are performing certain projects because that project gives you an opportunity to learn on your own. In statistics also, there are projects, small projects in the first year or in the second year or in the third year, even in the post-graduation level also, even in the post-graduation diploma courses also. So at different levels of education, there are projects. Particularly speaking in statistics, there is always a question that what should be the project? How we can take a topic for project? And this problem is very difficult to answer because in other subjects there is something interactive. We can bring some material, we can integrate that material, and we can get something output from that device. This kind of integration of material is not here, but integration of data is here. And that is why, even though there is a question that what is the project in statistics, I am taking this an opportunity to discuss with you how in statistics also project is a very interesting, very informative, very encouraging, interest creating, self learning tool. So I welcome all of you for this my presentation. Let us see what is the idea behind project in statistics. See, when we are going to take any project, we must have back at the back of our mind that we must have to solve certain problem of the society. So we have to identify what is the current problem, what is the current issue in the society, which problem, which issue, if I address, if I give the solution for that, that will be useful for the mankind as such. So this is the first objective of learning through the project. The second objective is to identify importance, scope, and limitation of the problem. Once we understand the problem, it is not possible to solve the problem of all, but we can make the boundaries, we can make certain limitations within which we can solve the problem. And within that limit, we must be able to understand the possible importance and possible scope of the project. So that is the second thing that we can learn through the deep thought given to the topic project. Once we are confirmed with these two issues, that is the current problem and limitations of the problem, then we are in a position to devise what are the objectives of the study, what are the objectives of the problem. And we have to mention two, three objectives. We don't have to give a big list of objectives. It is always desirable to give 3 to 4 maximum objectives. And objective should be very clear, well mentioned, and to the point. So this communication skill, a written skill, is also a one learning process during the course of project. Once we decide the object of the concerned topic, concerned project, concerned problem, concerned issue, then we have to decide what will be the possible, relevant, and necessary data that will address the problem. So we have to give a thought on this, the what kind of data is required for this. And once we are through the framework of this necessary data, then we are in a position to decide the data collection instrument How I will collect the data? There are different approaches. The approaches may be survey. We can go by questionnaire. We can go by interview. We can go by registration. We can go by observation. We can go by measurement. We can use secondary sources. And now we can use, in fact, Internet of Things, tools like IoTs that will also capture the real-time data. Internet will give you a big source of data. So data collection is the another process, and before that actual data collection, we have to understand what should be the proper instrument for the relevant and necessary data. The next possible learning through project is preparation of data collection. How to collect the data. See, the collection of the data is not only recording the numbers and recording the traits. There are different alternatives and there are different thoughts we have to give before we process the data collection step. Because when we go in the field with questionnaire, you will come up with number of experiences. And when we come up with such a number of experiences, some good experiences, some adverse experiences. Good experiences will give you some kind of encouragement, but something adverse experiences uh, may not give you a proper direction. So that may give you depressedness. So in such a situation, how to overcome such a adverse situation also? So you have to prepare psychologically, mentally, physically, and through our proper thought process for the actual data collection. How much should be the data we should collect? That is size of the data collection. At least theoretically, we have to mention, we have to come up with certain number that what should be the data collection. And this is a very, very, very important step, because in social sciences, we can come up with large data. But in pharmaceutical industry, clinical sector, biostatistics requires the mention of data, size of the data collection. Biostatisticians have to do this task of calculating the size of the data, because size of the data is associated with time factor, with cost factor, and it may have some intervention of error and accuracy also. So that is why size of the data is very important concern that we have to learn in the project as such. Actual data collection. Now we have to go for actual data collection. Now when we go for actual data collection, we have to keep our eyes quite open. We have to be very communicative for data collection, because we have to propose the objective of our study, and that should be through our proper communication. We must have some observational skill. Through observation we can collect some data. We must have some psychological trait, some psychological mindset, by which also we can take appropriate decision during the course of data collection. We need patience also, because in the field we may come up with different types of peoples. So as I already told you, some will give you good experiences, some will give you bad experiences. In either case, you have to keep the patience. Presentation skill, because we have to communicate them what is the purpose of my study, and that is nothing but the presentation. So while actual data collection, we have to keep our eyes open, we have to keep our mind open, we have to be psychologically stable, with good patience, with good observational skill. We have to enter in the field of data collection. Once we collect the data, then there is a question of what should be the possible spreadsheet software appropriate for data entry. Let me first enter the data. Then I will decide which software I should use for analysis. So data entry software, that is necessary to understand. That software should have capability to share this data with other software also. So this importing exporting of the data from one to the other software has need, and we have to take care of all these factors while choosing the software for data entry. No doubt usually we go with Excel, and there are many other spreadsheets we can use them for data entry. But for specialized purposes, there are some special data entry softwares also. Once we enter the data, then there is a step of selecting relevant tools for data analysis. Now, data analysis is a process. This process has different steps, and we have to follow them. The first step is data visualization. This data visualization step will come up with certain graphs, charts, and many other thousands, lakhs of possible data visualization tools are there, and equal number of options are also there. So this data visualization is a step by which we can understand the overall profile of the population as such, and not only the selected data, because selected data is a sample, and with the help of that sample data we are going to talk something about the population, we are going to draw some conclusion about the population. So we are going to understand the profile of the population with the help of data visualization. So understanding the very right profile is a skill, and for that purpose we have to use very appropriate, the most appropriate perfect data visualization tool and the option in it. So during the process of project we are going to learn this. You can draw hundreds of graphs, but how many of you are going to interpret them also? How many are, if we are going to compare them also? So we have to draw optimum number of graphs, optimum number of charts, optimum number of diagrams by which we have to draw maximum interpretation, and that is the skill that we are going to learn through the project. The next steps are exploratory data analysis, explanatory data analysis, confirmatory data analysis, and advanced data analysis. Once we end up with data visualization, we have exploratory step. Now in the exploratory step, basically we go for summary statistics. We are going to summarize the data by different approaches, and that is exploratory data analysis. So that will be another way of understanding the profile in terms of numbers. Data visualization is also a step of understanding the profile of the population by pictures, by photos, by means of graphs and charts, whereas exploratory analysis will add in your knowledge some numbers, and that number will give you something more information about the population profile. Then there is a step of explanatory data analysis. There are some hidden things that we have to capture, and this capturing of hidden information through certain formulas, through certain calculations, through certain analysis process is explanatory analysis. Just to quote an example, given two variables, we can draw graph, we can compute their means, we can compute their variances individually. But once we compute its a correlation coefficient, that is an explanatory part, because now you are trying to explain the relationship between them, type of relationship between them, the strength of relationship between them. So you are extracting some hidden information, and that is explanatory step. Confirmatory analysis, where we have a scope for applying different tests like t-test, f-test, ANOVA, chi-square test, number of steps are there, parametric test, non-parametric test, whatever it may be. but we are going to confirm something whatever in our mind, and that is related to objective, that is related to hypothesis. And that is why this is the third step, confirmatory data analysis. If you are interested, if your data supports, if your objective supports, you can go for advanced data analysis also. So these things stepwise we are going to learn through our project. Then for all this, we need the proper choice of software for analysis. A wide range of softwares are there, out of which is the best software for my present data and its corresponding analysis. This is the decision, and this choice decision we have to take about the analysis. Otherwise, we can use our handy software also, but in some cases you may have to do some intermediate more calculations. If you are ready with that, you can take any handy softwares also, or you can go for advanced software also. So these are the steps, these are the things which we are going to learn through project. So project is not a simple thing, it is going to give you a wide range of knowledge through different direction, and that will add your experience also. So let us be happy with the project. Then, in addition to the points which already we have discussed, once we decide about the software for data analysis, we have to use some coding structure. We may have to go for some coding technique. So we have to design the coding structure, because the text type of data, some softwares are capable of using text type of data, but not all. So in that case, we have to go for coding. So we have to design the coding. And when options are less in number, coding is very easier. But when options are more, we have to design a proper coding. The coding should be informative. Coding should be very interesting. Just to give you an example, RTO system have adopted a coding system, registration system, like MH, then a number, and then a series number. GJ, KA, TN, PN, MP, AP, UP, like this. Earlier there was a series like MVN, TBN, something like this. Now compare with MVN, now MH is a very simple to understand, that only by first two letter we can understand the registration of this vehicle is from which state. Either is it from Maharashtra state, Karnataka state, Andhra Pradesh state, or which one. So that coding structure has ability to focus the state through which the corresponding vehicle belongs. So that is the power of coding structure, and we have to learn this coding structure. This coding structure and learning of this coding structure is a very important step. In fact, in mathematics, there is a course on coding theory. In fact, there is a branch in mathematics, encryption and decryption. So this is the coding. In fact, when we drop messages in our WhatsApp, the one message is there that our messages are encrypted and your data is kept as long as confidential. So whatever the message I am reading and on my mobile will be read equally by recipient. In between there is a coding, and this coding is so difficult that a common man cannot understand this, and that is the secrecy, that is the confidentiality of data. So coding structure, coding definitions, coding method, coding technology, designing the coding structure is very important step. Reorganization of data according to software. See, the data whatever we have captured, data whatever we have entered in the software that is exactly as it is may not be used for data analysis. For example, obtaining the analysis of ANOVA, say CRD, in one software is different than obtaining the analysis of same data in another software is different. Just to give an example, in Excel, if you're performing CRD, just enter the data in 3 columns and just go for analysis. You will get the output. You need not have to rearrange the data. But if you go for Minitab, if you go for SPSS, the same 3 columns will not work for data analysis. You have to arrange this data according to category and response. So this reorganization of data is also an important step that we have to learn during the process of project. Once we done this, then we are in a step to perform actual analysis. So actual analysis will require the operational skill of the underlying software, and having with this we can do actual analysis. So this process will give you an opportunity to understand the operational skill of the underlying softwares too. Once we get the output, we have to remember that every software has it's a different output style. Excel has its own output style. Mintab has its own output style. SPSS has its own output style. SAS has its own different output style. So output styles are different. We have to carry out the thought process to draw findings, to attach interpretation, to draw conclusions based on the results of analysis. And now this is how where we have to use our thought process very deeply with very concise mind. We have to give the time for understanding this result and converting this understanding of result in terms of finding, interpretation and conclusion. Once we do this, we have to present this result. That's a presentation of result. So presentation is a skill. There is no unique formula. There is no unique pattern, because unique pattern and unique formula, unique strategy, unique structure will be very boring. And so everyone should have his own distinct presentation skill. And here you have a scope to expose your best presentation skill. Then report writing or project writing, where we have to focus four main things. One is importance of the study, supplementary and allied information of the topic, systematic draft of the whole project, references. You have to present the highlights of the project, and at the end of this story, you have to convert the whole project in a scientific technical writing, which may be called as a research paper. So these many things we are going to learn through the concept of project. And I am sure that those students who do the project very efficiently, very interestingly, very keenly, all steps, each and every step, each and every step, they will face very less difficulties in their interviews. Their choice of selection in particular job will become very easy. The probability of their selection will become high if they are good at the project. Because in short, project gives you the means of addressing the problem. So this is the idea behind this lecture I am going to give you. The another lecture which I will possibly give you is on different topics for project.